Hi, I'm Ben. I'm here to learn English.
And I'm Emma. I'm here to help.
Let's learn together.
Let's learn together. Hey everyone, welcome back to English with Emma and Ben. If you're new here, this podcast helps you improve your English through natural conversations. And today's episode is especially useful if you're preparing for the IELTS speaking test.
That's right. We're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, books and TV. It's a very common IELTS topic, and we'll go through sample questions, natural answers, and a few tips on vocabulary and pronunciation, all in a real conversation.
So relax, grab a cup of tea, and let's dive in.
All right, let's start with Part 1 style questions. You know, the simple ones about your habits and preferences. Emma, I'll start with you. Do you like reading books?
Oh, definitely. I've loved reading since I was a kid. I usually read before going to bed. It helps me relax and disconnect from screens. I'm more into fiction, especially novels that mix mystery with a bit of psychology. What about you, Ben?
I do like reading, but to be honest, I don't read as often as I used to. These days, I mostly read nonfiction, things like biographies or self-improvement books. I find it easier to listen to audiobooks while commuting rather than sitting down with a physical book.
That's actually quite common now. Audiobooks and ebooks make it so convenient. Okay, next one. What kind of books do people in your country usually read?
I think it really depends on age. Young people are into fantasy or graphic novels, while older readers prefer historical fiction or crime thrillers. But lately, there's been a trend of people reading books about mindfulness and productivity.
Yeah, same here. I've noticed that people are more interested in self-development books, things like how to manage stress or build better habits, probably because life's getting more stressful.
Exactly. All right, next question for you. Do you prefer watching TV or reading books?
That's a tough one. I think it depends on my mood. If I'm tired, I prefer watching TV shows because it's more relaxing. But if I have time and want to use my imagination, I go for a book. How about you?
I'd say TV, especially documentaries or travel shows. I love visuals. They help me learn faster. But I agree, reading is a deeper experience. You really connect with the story.
Nicely put. And that's a great IELTS answer, by the way, showing balance and explanation.
Let's move on to part 2. So imagine this is your cue card. Describe a book or TV show you enjoyed recently. You should say what it is, what it's about, who recommended it to you, and explain why you enjoyed it.
Okay, I'll give it a go. So, recently, I watched a TV series called The Bear. It's about a young chef who takes over his family's struggling restaurant after his brother passes away. A friend recommended it to me, saying it's not just about food, but also about stress, teamwork, and finding purpose. I really enjoyed it because it felt so real. The characters are complex and the dialogue is intense, but meaningful. The show also captures the pressure of modern workplaces really well. Plus, the cinematography is amazing. It's like watching a piece of art.
That's such a great example. You gave clear details, personal reaction, and emotional reasons. Perfect structure for IELTS.
Okay, my turn. I'll talk about a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a self-help book about how small daily habits can lead to big changes over time. My colleague recommended it to me last year, and I've read it twice since then. What I love about it is how practical it is. It's full of real examples and easy-to-follow advice. After reading it, I started applying some tips like creating small routines for exercise and learning. It really changed how I think about consistency.
That's a fantastic answer. You explain not only what it's about, but how it influenced you. That's exactly what examiners love.
Yes, in IELTS Part 2, always show reflection. Don't just describe, explain why it mattered.
Now let's move on to part 3, the discussion stage. These questions are deeper and test your ability to express opinions and develop ideas logically.
All right, first question. Do you think people read fewer books these days?
Definitely. With so much digital entertainment available, people spend more time scrolling on their phones or watching short videos. Reading requires more concentration, so it's less appealing to some. However, I don't think reading is disappearing. It's just moving to different formats, like ebooks or audiobooks. The key thing is that people are still consuming stories, just in new ways.
I totally agree. I also think social media has shortened our attention spans. It's harder for people to sit and read for an hour without checking their phones. But interestingly, some people are going back to physical books because they miss that feeling of disconnecting.
Yeah, reading a printed book feels more personal. You can highlight things, smell the paper, it's nostalgic.
Next one. How have TV programs changed compared to the past?
Well, they've become much more diverse. In the past, TV shows were limited to a few national channels, but now with streaming platforms like Netflix and Disney Plus, we have global content, shows from Korea, Spain, and so on.
Also, the production quality has improved dramatically. Even TV series now look like Hollywood movies.
Absolutely. And I'd add that storytelling has evolved. Now we see more complex characters and social issues being explored. It's not just about entertainment. Many shows are thought-provoking.
True. Like shows tackling mental health, politics, or climate change. That's something we rarely saw 20 years ago.
Here's another one. Do you think watching TV can be educational?
For sure. There are tons of documentaries, news programs, and even fictional shows that teach you something new. For example, I learned a lot about history from watching The Crown.
Same. I think TV can be a great educational tool if you choose the right content. It's also useful for language learners. Watching English shows with subtitles helps improve listening and vocabulary.
That's a great point. Using TV for language learning is a fun way to immerse yourself.
Okay, final question. Do you think reading books will ever disappear?
I don't think so. The format might change, but humans have always loved stories. Whether it's reading on paper or on a screen, storytelling is part of who we are.
I agree. Books might become more digital, but they'll never vanish completely. Reading allows people to imagine worlds in their own minds, and no screen can replace that experience.
Well, that was such a fun topic. I love how books and TV reflect our personalities and habits.
And hopefully all of you listening now feel more confident answering IELTS questions on this topic. Remember, in the speaking test, it's not about giving the perfect answer, but showing natural fluency, vocabulary range, and clear ideas.
Exactly. Try practicing some of today's questions with a friend or record yourself speaking. It really helps.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Don't forget to follow our podcast for more IELTS speaking practice episodes.
And as always, keep learning, keep speaking, and we'll see you in the next one.